Hey folks, Internet Dude here. Hey, just want to give you a quick update. I'm here in the shop today. I got the 85D Tesla and the 5-liter Mustang in here. Just give you a real quick update. I'm just working on the interior on the Mustang. I finished up the heater core project that was basically a nightmare. And then I pulled the carpet out because I wanted to clean where the coolant had soaked in underneath the underpad. And took the carpet out and cleaned it up. Seats are still out, but I'm in the process of cleaning the seats and stuff, so that's an ongoing project. And here on the 85D, how can I put this? The car is kind of turning into a hoopty. We've got three problems currently. One is the door handle, which you guys know about, and you can probably hear it if I get up close. Can you hear that motor noise? And sometimes if you pull, no, there's a little different noise once it opens, but if we pull it part way, okay, now it's making a completely different noise, but it appears like that the motor sound plays all the time. This is really handy. If you have a broken handle, put 2 layers of duct tape facing each other so the sticky part doesn't actually get stuck to anything. Works pretty good if you have I think it's a broken gear in there that's a problem. Another problem that's reoccurred probably 4 times now is there's some kind of noise from the suspension on the right front when you go over bumps. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. Tesla fixes whatever the issue is, and then a few months later it comes back, maybe as another issue, or as another problem. I don't know. But the other kind of newer-ish issue that, okay, come on. Hang on. Not sure what's going on. Try again. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. Turns out, why is it not opening now? Oh, Pete's sake. All right, so the other issue is the glove box. Let me just bring you in here. So this is something I noticed like probably 6 months ago, and I never really thought too much about it. But I noticed when you close the glove box, it just wasn't like a super smooth kind of feeling like when you close it. And I noticed there's a tiny bit bigger gap on this side than there is on this side, and didn't really occur to me until about a week ago, and I was riding in the car, and for whatever reason I went in the glove box. But I took a closer look at what's going on in here, and I noticed that this right hinge seems to be loose or broken. If we look at the left one, let me try and get you in there. Lighting's not the best. I'll grab a light in a minute, but if I wiggle the glove box, that hinge doesn't really move. But if I go over to this side and I move the glove box door, you can see it's really, like, you can see and feel that it's really not connected to anything on this side. So that led me to looking into, Tesla Model S glove box issues. And I emailed the mobile tech, and he's like, oh, I can take a look at it. If you need a new glove box, it's $1,245 plus labor, plus tax, etc. So I'm going to just take a minute and try to fix it myself. Maybe save, what would that be? $1,400 or whatever. But yeah, so I looked into the glove box issue. If you take a look, there's a little latch thing on this side, or a catch, and then there's one over here. And they're actually connected inside there. And when you push the button, there's just a release here. Now, the reason the glove box is that expensive is because you're buying the whole thing. You're buying the door with the hinges, with these things. I think with the light in there, there's the mechanism, the opener mechanism. Like it's the whole thing that you have to buy. And I did some searching, and it looks like sometimes what happens is there's a pin in that hinge, and it falls out. And I think that's probably going to be my problem. So what I'll do is I'll just set the camera up and I'll show you kind of a trick here. Okay, so I got a light here. Hopefully you can see everything okay. From this angle you can maybe see better that the door doesn't fit quite right, I think because of that hinge. So in my searching I found a site called fixmyev.com. They have some handy dandy instructions here on removing the trim, which is this piece of trim up and around, and then the glove box itself. So I took a look in there, and what I was able to determine is, first you're supposed to take off this really big piece of trim here, and then you remove this lower piece of trim, and then there's fasteners there to remove the glove box. And I think at this point I don't need to remove the whole glove box, but I'm going to take a look at that hinge. So just get yourself a plastic trim tool and just try and, oh, maybe I'll come over here. Just try and pop this piece of trim off because it just has clips. Okay. Okay. This fell out. I bet you that's important. Let's see if I'm just trying not to damage anything. Okay, so you can see there are 6 clips here. Seems like overkill for such a small piece of trim, but there's no rattling, so I'd say it's doing good. And so this thing is probably has something to do with that. Okay. I'll bring you on in here so you can see, but I see what the issue is now. So if we take a look, let's look at the good hinge here first of all. You can see there's the center part, which would be attached to the glove box door, and these 2 parts that would be attached to, I guess, the main part of the glove box. And if we come look at this side, here's the, get you right in there. Oh, I can point with this. This is the part that's attached to the door. Then this little part here, which is broken, there's another part here broken off, is must be attached to the other part. So this pin must have been in place there before. Let's see if I open it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, when you move the door, okay. So what I'm able to determine from this is that part of where the pin hooks on each end is broken off. So I'm gonna have to think about whether I can maybe epoxy that back together. I know this little piece is still there, which is good. The other little piece is broken and apparently gone, but I wonder if I can epoxy that or not. Or look on eBay for a used glove box. Anyway, let me think about that and look at that for a minute, and I'll come back. Okay, so I think what I'm going to wind up doing, I took a look and I put that pin in there loosely, and I figured out that what I'll try and do is just repair this somehow. This center part here that's attached to the glove box door just basically rides on this. Like the pin in there stays secure. I looked at the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the trim and the glove box out, and I'll see if I can epoxy it or JB weld or do something. So I'll pull that off now. Okay, I got it off, but that was too awkward to film. But basically, here's the back side. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 clips. They all pull just straight back towards you. So next step will be to looking like this. This must be part of it. Let's see. Looks like that's part of the glove box. Oh yeah, yeah. Here we go. Yeah, so these 3 screws. There's one here. They appear to be Torx, 2, 3, and then there's 3 down there. So I'll pull that out and we'll continue. So I didn't take into account that this little piece of trim needs to come off the side because it's attached, but I have all the fasteners removed and it is loose, and I'll pull it out now because I'm gonna have to sit right in the way and disconnect those electrical connectors. Okay, that's as far as I can get today. I gotta go home now, but just wanted to give you a little peek at what's in behind the dash here. Do you recognize all those things? So there's a bunch of things back there. Anywho, I did put this little panel back in for now, but I'm going to drive home like this, and I'll come back when I have a chance to work on that broken piece. Alright, so I got the whole glove box out here. I'm going to fix it now. Here's what I decided I'm going to do. I'm going to use crazy glue to fix this tiny little broken piece because it's still hanging on a little bit, so I'm going to drop some crazy glue in there. And then I noticed this piece here is actually broken slightly, and I'm afraid to do too much with it, so I might just epoxy right over that to hold it down. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that crazy glue dry, and then I'm going to go around it a little bit with some epoxy, and I'm going to go over, put the pin all the way in, and then I'll go over this side with epoxy as well. So we'll see how it turns out. I have some rubbing alcohol also to put on here to help clean the surface. I can feel there's a little bit of oil and there's some of this fuzzy dust stuff. So I will do that. You don't need to see it, and then I'll come back and show you how bad it looks. All right, so it's the next day. The epoxy's had a chance to dry, and the crazy glue. Let me see if I can get you in here. So you can see here, here's the epoxy. It's very hard now. You can see the other epoxy over here, and I crazy glued and epoxied that spot. So if we take a look, see if it'll focus good there. So you can see I joined the epoxy over to the existing plastic around this pin, and a little bit over here too. The one thing I found is that the epoxy I used actually was too runny, and that actually caused me some grief, because what was happening is I was putting the epoxy on and it would kind of run down, and I thought it was actually going to wind up getting right in here, right in between. Oh, there we go. Right in between, I thought it was going to wind up epoxying the door to the hinge part, but it didn't. And now you can see door operates good. I have something in the way so it won't actually latch, but if we look, it seems very secure. This piece is secure, that's secure, this is secure. If I had to do any touch up, it basically would probably be, I would add a little bit more epoxy right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the car as is. We're going to give that a shot and see how it goes. If everything fits good and everything, then we're probably going to call this a fix. So let me go put it in, and we'll check it out. All right, well, the glove box is installed. I hooked up the 3 wiring connectors. I tested it out, and I even put in this bottom trim piece because I wanted to see if it interfered at all with the hinge there. So let's go ahead and open it. See, it comes down nice. It's secure. And let me just try to throw a little light on here and just show you what the hinge does now. You can see the hinge operates exactly as it should. I'm going to call that a win. You can kind of see down there, you can see the pin just a little bit, but that's okay. I kind of suspect that what happened was a pen or something must have got caught here when the door was trying to close and must have broke that. Because you can see the space there, like if you had a pen or anything like that, it's just going to get caught there. It's not going to fall out. So it would have been nice if Tesla had included a little edge on here so that stuff won't fly out if you happen to open the door and grab something out and close it again. I know there is some aftermarket thing you can put along the edge. There's a little add-on, and something I'm going to definitely look into. So I'm going to throw that last piece of trim on, but I'm going to call this a win, as it is here. So just for curiosity's sake, I did the math. The Tesla approved fix would most likely be to just replace the entire glove box as a unit, because they don't sell parts. As I mentioned before, it's $1,245 Canadian. I estimated 1 hour of labor at $150 plus tax. So I figured this, if I just had Tesla fix this at a warranty, it would cost me $1,548.45. So as you saw there, taking it apart, finding that pin, and just using some simple epoxy really saved me over $1,500. If this had been under warranty, if I had the extended warranty, the charge would have been $270 deductible for the extended warranty usage on this part. So with tax and everything, I still would have been out $300 to get a new glove box. But either way, it kind of pays on a used car to do a little bit of work yourself, DIY it, kind of rich rebuild style. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about this, and if there's some other DIY stuff you want me to do, let me know. Okay, thanks for watching.